Good evening, everybody. Most of you will get this on the rerun. I wanted to jump onto this live feed because I've got a viral post. Well, I call it a small viral post. Really, I don't. 18,000 higher leaders for what they can do and have done. So this is based on article that I wrote, some additional analysis that's from, if I pronounce his name correctly, and other leading researcher. So I know this is a hot topic at the moment. 18,000 people are reading it or read it so far. I wanted to give some further context to the conversation for the world's big companies, literally. I can tell from data who's looking at that post, LinkedIn's data. So, avoiding promoting entirely based on a cultural fit. I think I've just, give me a second, notes the wrong way round. Okay, right. Right, I'm going backwards, yeah, and I'll give you additional tips. So, in from that article, that if we continue to recruit people based on their experience, they do too well in terms of organizational performance, right? Hope you agree with that. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot. Really, this is what it's all about, right? This is understanding our thoughts, feelings, behaviors. A good leader to recognize, to promote, not on what they've done, but on their potential. It's a very high level skill. There is, from my research, no company in the world doing this right now correctly. So, over time, I'll give more videos, more HBO articles, my analysis. We might get there. I don't know. But anyway, so how do you recruit people on it or promote within HR practitioners? Your recruitment practice needs to change because reference, we know, and even now, still people will leave companies based on they don't feel that you have their best interests at heart. Loads of different things, but it does come down to EQ, emotional intelligence. So you could create, for example, learning tasks. So what I mean by that is traditional assessments, and you score, which works to some level. But if you're recording, for instance, you could create a learning task that's set in that interview session. So you would not say, give me an example, competency-based question of time we did this. A learning task would be, for instance, you could say, give them a scenario on a problem that might face in the future. You're testing their literally his behaviors in that moment, and therefore you can gauge it and you can grade it if you want, but I would advise the interview panel to go by their gut feelings. Now, maybe you could do a grading system complex. So these are just basic ideas that I think will help the recruitment practice in terms of promotion. And as the article says, and this title said, high leaders for what they can do. Really good at EQ. That of others' potential, like experts at training and developing people, because we can see the worth in our students. I, for instance, could look up, go to somebody and say, right, I think you're a good fit for that. What's these key characteristics of learning, right? Your willingness to learn. The article and go at the end. It says if they've got a willingness to learn, that's why no rocket for you. Learning for you family, because when we're keen, we progress more. And if you see that as a worth, which is an asset, those are the best times. They might not have because of the experience, the technical skills, but because they're keen, the leadership skills come after. So they're of faith, and you can give that to them. Hope that makes sense. HRM, in terms of EQLP, which is Emotional Intelligence Leadership Practice, start with empathy in action. I've just started to do some promotional videos around this on LinkedIn. There's one going today. I created a very short one. Empathy in action is basically you being understanding in the moment. Now, what does that have to do with leadership potential? Everything. Okay. As a leader, if you're seeing the potential in somebody else, because empathy, and they're doing it on a daily basis, or you see it regularly, or it's in your mind, that's a really good indication that they're growing as a leader, already potential. So they might not have all those technical skills, but they're climbing high in that learning capacity, their willingness to learn, their commitment. And we know reference point research tells that from commitment, okay, if it's high level, then that equals higher performance because they're committed. Simple enough to understand. Like reference point I've written here, during the interview, you could use a score factor if you're given that test in the interview, or gut feeling. Interviews like this in big companies are usually done by 2 or 3, I think, rather from the gut feeling. But that's why your HRM team, senior management, they training around empathy and active and understanding really grows in a company, what happens in the timeline. Now, there's loads of studies on this, and this is something that I've been working on this week, and it's a very complex area. It's called emotional diversity or emotional granularity. So I've written a short piece today. Check it out on my profile. You need to be looking at embedding more career progression models. In simplification to that, that's basically a career ladder. Those are basically some of the core principles and research I've got in, and that reminds me where I need to go with my research. Now, what I haven't seen in any companies for a very, very long time is a progression ladder, a clear form in the staff from somewhere visible, whether it's digital or not, that shows somebody in a company, because there is too much of a fight of promotion, for instance, the gender pay gap, etc. Also, I just think reference all the course model from L&D perspective blew up silly. Corporate America spent millions of dollars on this program. We'll use it. Just it doesn't work that way. Humans don't work that way. You can't put a human in a room to just be the ultimate performer. That's not leadership. So you need to show the psychological, benefit of somebody seeing a career ladder in the staff room, or a vision. And this is why inductions need to be changed a lot, I would argue. Instead of showing what the company's done, show what the culture is, because when you're doing your recruitment, and I know recruitment's really tough at the moment, the labour market, I'm not going to work for a company that doesn't have the values similar to mine, okay? Vision, okay, is linked to good mental well-being. So if somebody, for instance, comes to join your company, or looks at your, wants to start in a company and sees something that doesn't align to their personal values, which is vision, they're probably not going to join. So, building some kind of visualization about how you grow in a company, an infographic chart for a really, really good way psychologically to promote early mental well-being and start somebody on the journey of leadership development. Hope that makes sense. And I've written here, offer in-depth company overview. So that's more on a culture side rather than, oh, we've been going for 100 years and we serve in 20 different markets. It's utterly ridiculous. Nobody falls for that stuff no more. It's got to go. I think I've written called I want to share with you, and I'll just talk about not too much fixed and growth mindsets, but how we can align this. So this is experts are often hindered by fixed mindsets and narrow views, which result from their years of experience. So if you're a leader and you feel you've got all these expertise and you're trying to run it because gaps are there, need to be filled, a great leader doesn't recruit in that way. A lot of great leaders are growth mindset believers, but I would rather try to teach EQ, LP, emotional intelligence leadership, which is in short the ability for any to understand their thoughts, feelings, behaviors, not only from themselves, but see the potential in others. Skill, it takes time, journey, because our emotions change on a daily basis. So, you know, if you look at the article, if you do read it, and it's on my profile at the top on left hand side, I encourage you to do. We in life as humans will go for a roller coaster, and at different points we'll be ready for different positions in our life or any company. And when you're managing a workforce of 10,000, 20 million, 300,000, that's like a small city. So it's a lot of people, and you've really got to get this down, because in this global recession, you will face the threat of administration from other different things. So you need to really get this nailed in. And that's about EQLP. So the only way you can really understand that is having a different mindset about your colleagues and seeing their future. Your mental well-being, because if you're stressed, you're going to spot the right opportunities for other people to progress. Right? I hope that makes yeah, so I think I've covered everything apart from the innovation. In the article, it says your leadership pipeline it can grow if you take these principles on what I've given you here, plus my analysis in the article additionally. Your leadership pipeline is your innovation pipeline. So what people that think differently, those kind of people, which is the article says in that promotional run. So somebody that might have the technical skills, you promote them because they're keen, they want to learn. We need that for employees in a mix of 20 employees, say, for instance. That will fuel, you're getting new ideas, which creates more creativity. And we know that, you know, innovation fueled in the right way does increase organizational performance. Got more ideas on the table this recession to create business growth, new products, more sustainable work flowing up, because you're allowing them to come forward. Reference point, autonomy equal proven in research. So all these things are coming together just by you changing how you recruit within people more. And as the title says, hire leaders for what they can do, not what they've done in the past. Now, this is already cost America in terms of revenue. Big case study example of where this has gone wrong. Wake up call for every CEO. I don't know what is. It does amaze me that we're still, after 2 years this article was written, as the article said, there was another famous article written even longer than that, 50 years I think it is, doing this. We've really got to get this. I would argue with other academics that this will save lives, because organizations where they're not promoted, they're not believed in, they feel devalued, they quickly go into depression, and sometimes they'll choose to end their life because of the companies. Now, reference point before the pandemic, more hours in our companies, colleagues, than we did spend our time with our families, because just the way the full-time working. Recently, that there was a study about 4-day week. Productivity doesn't really go down; it goes up in certain areas. I'm a big fan of that. Whether companies at scale will do it, I don't know, but recruit normally and within the company, and we have to show a lot more EQLP, which is emotion, intention, and practice. This is the first time you've seen my profile. I've written loads of articles last week, and it's backed up by research. It's not just going blah blah blah. More on it. There's a big famous article written by I can't remember the researcher now, but I've definitely referenced it. Anyway, but you can read that on my profile. If you take anything away from this video call, you view leadership potential in others. You can't do this overnight, and anyone thinks they can. Be a CEO right now that's going through stress because you've got, for instance, geopolitical risks, and which is basically, for example, you want to think about Xing out of stuff like that. A lot of stresses, the exchange rate, UK currency, Xing out of that market, you lose a lot of stress. But it doesn't matter where you are, and if you don't understand really the human tenacity and capacity of how they progress in life, I don't progress unless and that's why I'm really pushing this empathy in action at the moment. So understanding what someone's going through in the moment, that will drive performance, by the way. That will more innovation, more creativity. That equals business growth, USP, competitive advantages, right? All these key words, they're all connected. It does equal fulfillment or project leader or in the company. So this particular article and many arisen more recently are really important. How we're looking at humans in the workplace, and really that's what is or modern leadership. We need to get to more of a humanistic perspective, which always needs to be. But if you look at business strategy first and you want to increase, but you've got a really poor development program for leadership, how are you going to get to innovation, which is going to fuel your business strategy, right? It doesn't take a rocket science to. But anyway, I hope this video helps, because you're going to see, I predict, it's taken me a while to get back to this level just because of LinkedIn's changed the algorithm. I'll post, I'll try and do a video. I'll probably do a video every night next week around my research and any other art resonates more, because I think that when you read something, it's good, but a video just gives it a bit more emphasis, and being a former, and they resonate a bit more. If I'm speaking clearly, I don't know everything, but hence, guess what? Reference point research, we're all learning, and if we're learning, we're progressing. Hence, again, my name, my brand's Learning for You. So I am learning literally for you, and then I'll give you the information that you can use in your colleagues. That's how systems are changing. That's how lasting social change is made. Right? Okay. Hope it didn't sound too cheesy. Thank you for all for watching. I don't really live feeds because I've got so much research coming through at the moment. I'm trying to increase the speed of production of my content in terms of the research, because I just really feel we're at a pivoting point now in the global economy where CEOs, I can tell from data, the biggest brands in the world are looking at this content, and some of it, most of it is more useful than other bits, but they'll take what you can get from different bits of content and apply it to your work situation. Every company is different, but the one thing, the human brain, okay, we all have stress, anxiety, and the more intelligence we get on, for instance, today, how we promote leadership, not by the leader yourself, and that increases your company performance. I'll end it there. Thank you for tuning in. Watch it on your rerun. Hope you got value in the conversation. Apologies for going so fast because I just got so much in my head at the moment, and I'll be doing a lot more videos all next week, which will be helpful to you and hopeful. So thank you for watching. If it's on a rerun, thank you for watching it. If it resonates, why not? More other people to grow there. I'll keep talking about EQLP until it's in every single white paper a company's write these days. Leadership practice is the future of and good mental being, which is a sideline of it. It all comes together anyway. But thank you again for tuning in. I wanted to do this pre-Sunday night because Monday is the start of the week. A lot of boardroom meetings happening around the world right now, stressful ones. And if I click on that and deal a lot of risk, I don't want companies to go under. Reference point 500 US companies will face administration in this recession. We're in dark waters, but if we work together, collaborate, share good ideas, clear analysis, we will be in a chance at least to improve our mental well-being. If our mental well-being is strong, for instance, we'll make better business decision making. That creates more innovation, creativity. I'm repeating myself here because of what needs to go right in. Anyway, otherwise I will talk all night, which I'm sure you'll enjoy, but I'll lose my voice. On social media, Wisdom Act, which I don't do anymore, sadly, 3 hours. And that was just me talking, but there you go. I'm here to help, serve leaders to believe in others, but more importantly, believe in yourself, because self-doubt is a real, human emotion that we go through, and we're allowed to go something we should make some brilliant or difficult decisions, cut your team, these are hard decisions to make. I get it, and because humans are involved, if you're passionate about your team and you don't want to lose them, I feel for you. But be real with it. Be real with yourself. Talk to somebody. Don't bottle it all in. Good. I'm here for every single brand in the world here on LinkedIn, as much as I can give in terms of thought leadership in my research and combining with all the other researchers. Key one, of course, is Daniel Gorman, which I have big thanks to, and I'm sure his research is just, really the icing point about, even 20 years ago we on it. Before then, even that we're still not practicing EQLP, and how to implement EQLP or even just a little bit of emotional intelligence in the workplace. That's why I think the article, university, apologies, empathy, number one leadership skill is, I wrote one article from one client that got nearly 1 million views to update it in terms of the recession, because people need this kind of intelligence. It's not rocket science to treat people with respect and kindness and empathy. Where it becomes difficult is when we've got our own stress in life. With a moment's well-being, which is my research. You can imagine the study of emotional intelligence and mental well-being is like that. But that's why I try and put out as much content and research as I go along, and that might be useful to you. So hopefully this video is useful for you. I promise I'm going to stop talking. And wherever you are in the world, take care. Good night.